Welcome to the Ordinary Marathoner Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Ordinary Marathoner Podcast. My name is Coach Scott. I'll be your host today. It is Monday, May 11th. Hope you guys are having a good. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Good Mother's Day weekend out there. Happy Mother's Day, belated to anyone, to all you mothers out there. What a great weekend. We are on day 4 of the Ordinary Marathon, our 10-day virtual charity run event that we do annually. Incredible participation this year. I got to say, about a month ago, we were having issues with trying to get people registered last minute and trying to build this thing a little bit better. We take a loss on this every single year just because we put so much effort into it. And it's like I try not to spare expenses, but every year I wind up writing a check to the charity that's above and beyond what we've collected, which I love doing. But this year in particular, I was like, wow, this is so much work, and we've been, struggling so much with it that maybe this will just be the last year of the Ordinary Marathon. And I tell you, over the last 2 months, you guys have rallied. Registration is pretty much the most it's been. I think we're about 70 people, and and just to watch you guys get together. People that I haven't even met personally that either listen to the podcast or maybe you found out about us through the 4-Run-3 Run group, which is local to me, or maybe just ran into us, heard the podcast. I don't know. But I love seeing it. I love, and don't be shy, guys, because probably about 60 or 70% of you guys are actually participating and posting your runs on Facebook. But remember, there's a daily raffle every single day. We give away great prizes. We've already done 2 of those. We're due for a third, obviously, today. And you're not eligible unless I know that you ran the day before. So get involved. Do a run, do a walk, whatever it is, get out, get something done, post a picture to Facebook. We compile all those pictures and we do a slideshow at the end. I'm really looking forward to putting that together. A lot of you guys sending me some really good stuff, some good quality photos and stuff for the slideshow. I'm loving it. So Friday, after Friday's run, that was day 1. Joe Caniano won a custom water bottle from June Walker of Grandma Junie. Has a pottymouth.com. That's her page. That's her business. And I say water bottle, and you guys think, oh, water bottle. But you got to check this thing out. It's top-notch quality, really cool. I think everyone, when she posted it, everyone wants one. So a great prize, Joe Caniano. Congratulations winning that. And yesterday we gave out a prize to Sherry B. Sherry is a local runner who, I don't think I met before today or yesterday, really. Really good to see her out there. She's been out there every single day getting those miles in. And so we gave her a Team Ordinary introduction packet. So free membership to Team Ordinary, including the shirt. I'm wearing the hat. I'm wearing the shirt. Obviously hers won't say coach, but she was very excited about it and really getting involved in the run is really good to see. She's sort of a new runner and she's really just kind of caught the bug. And I love seeing it. I love all, it's funny. Every story seems to be similar. Everybody's story, how they get into running, seems to be similar. But everyone is also unique, and it's really cool to see. And hers was certainly unique. And I'm glad when people join the group and get involved and really just kind of embrace it. And Sherry, it was just, I couldn't imagine a more perfect winner of the day 2 prize. We'll be raffling off another prize. I have to compile the list of everyone who got involved and ran miles yesterday, and I haven't done that yet. So that's a task for later this morning. Another thing to note, we have our happy hour and coaches panel. Our next one, that will be Friday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Our guest this week will be Denny Cray of the Diz Runs podcast. A lot of you guys know him. He's been a guest on the podcast here a couple times. I've been a guest on his podcast a couple times. I know he does a virtual run. He did one last year. I don't know if that's going to be an annual thing. We'll have to ask him about that. But again, he'll be fielding questions on coaching. I know a lot of you guys out there started heart rate training and want to know about it. And he's pretty much the heart rate training expert. So he wrote a book on it. He wrote the book on heart rate training. Maybe not the book, but he wrote a book. I'll give him credit for it. He wrote the book. We'll give him the book credit. But I'm looking forward to getting him on there. I'm looking forward to getting some of your, list of some of you guys have some questions for him and just getting the dialogue going back and forth. We had a great time that first time with the coaches panel. I think what I learned was we had, so many people asking so many questions. We had the dietitian, Allison Knott. We had two triathlon coaches, Laura and Patrick Carey, Laura Stebbins, Patrick Carey. And it was kind of a little bit lack of focus because we'd had two different topics there. So, it's just one of those things. You do it, you learn, and then you just kind of you restructure. So our focus is going to be on running for this podcast or for this happy hour, sorry. And, it will be on Zoom. We'll start promoting it on the Facebook channel and on Twitter, and look, hopefully we'll just get a bunch of people there and just have a nice little discussion and talk. And, we put the video up on YouTube from the last one. So if you want to check that out, that's fine. But anyone can join. It's not like you got to pay for it. It's not like, you got to be a member of the club. Anyone can join. We'll put the information out on the Facebook page shortly. But I do, I am really embracing this year's race personally. I'm getting involved. I'm loving being involved. Every single day I've run and I've done a bike. Thursday night, we did the Midnight Madness Mile. And I want to thank everyone for getting involved in that. Again, the first year was just me doing this, and it was just one of these, hey, why not just celebrate the sort of like the opening ceremonies of the race, the official midnight hour. Let's get out and do a mile. And I say get out, but I do it on my treadmill. And so I did that first year by myself. Last year, I kind of threw the concept out there on the podcast, and Ron Booz ran it with me. So he's in North Carolina running his mile, and I'm up here in Massachusetts doing my mile. And that was kind of neat. That was kind of cool. And this year we probably had about 7-8 people doing the Midnight Madness Mile. And what started out as kind of like a fun thing is sort of why not? I'll just do it. Has now become sort of this great tradition, I hope. a tradition that just keeps going on every single year. We do the Ordinary Marathon, where at midnight a bunch of us go now. And I got to tell you, now I feel like a wuss. So the first year was just me at midnight on my treadmill. This year is like you guys are going outside with your your headlamps and your light up vests, bringing your dog Lorraine Fano. Good idea. I know Nick Doe is out there. He's dodging bears up in up in Canada. It is it became such a great thing this year to see so many people out running a Midnight Madness Mile. I'm in awe. And it's funny, Scott Frassard and I were talking about a week or two ago, and he's like, I'm so proud of what this has become, because Scott really built this race with me. It's not just me. Scott Frassard helps me. I mean, at least a 50-50 partner. And I know that years from now, this race is going to be super successful, and he's going to take this recording and bring it to court and say, look, see, I was 50% responsible. But he is. And actually, he knows I would never shortchange him. He does a lot of work for us. And he's like, I'm so proud of this race, that we do this race and that we raise this money for charity, and that everyone gets involved, and everyone's so into it, and it's true that, so many of you guys are into it. And really, I encourage, like I said, there's like 60 to 70% of you guys that post almost every single day that you get involved. And there's another like 30% that's sort of fringe. And I don't know what it is, if it's my fault that I don't send out enough emails to remind you guys, or post enough. Cause I know I get really sensitive about overwhelming people with social media stuff, including email lists. So I try not to overwhelm you guys, but and to a certain degree, I'm responsible for making sure that you guys know that, hey, it's race time. Like, we got to start running now, but there's that 30% of you guys that don't post your runs, or maybe you just don't even know, or maybe you're not on Facebook, maybe you're not on Twitter, but try to get involved somehow. Try to figure it out. Try to join that Facebook group somehow, or let me know somehow that you're out there running. Take some pictures. The slideshow. I can't wait for the slideshow. You guys are giving me some really good material. Anyway. So the Midnight Madness Mile was great, and we got that done. I ran Friday. I ran that mile on Friday night. Saturday, I did Matt Shore's bike ride. It was a little over 2 hours. I think it was about 30 miles, a lot of climbing. 30 miles, a lot of climbing. Great workout, by the way, Matt. Awesome job, awesome ride, great crew. It's funny, me and Matt kind of started these bike rides. My Thursday night ride, his Saturday morning ride. And the first couple times, I had like 2 people show up. I think a couple times I had just 1 person show up, and I didn't care. Like, we just went out and did it. And now it's kind of building up, and now, 20 people showing up at a time, whether it be Thursday night or Saturday morning. We get, about 20 people now showing up, and these things are just growing and growing, and Matt does a great job with his ride. So I rode 30 miles, and then I ran 3 later that afternoon. Sunday, that was yesterday, yeah. Sunday, Friday. I totally spaced on Friday. Friday, I did probably 11 miles on the bike, something like that. I don't even remember the exact amount. But I did a ride on Friday, and then it was like a mini brick. I did a 30-minute ride, and then followed by a 30-minute run. So about 3 miles, or was 3 miles. I've done 3 miles every single day. And then Sunday I did, again, pretty much the same thing. I pushed hard on a bike ride, about 11 miles in 30 minutes, and then did a 3-mile run. So right now I'm at about 10 miles for the whole ordinary marathon, 10 miles running, and about 50 miles riding, 4 days in. My goals are to complete a full marathon distance over the 10 days, so 26.2 miles running, and a full Ironman distance on the bike, so 112 miles on the bike over the 10 days, which should be able to be, I should be able to do that, right? And I'm on track. I'm well ahead of track. Michelle Brotman, by the way, out there, her goal was to do 26.2 miles, and she finished it on the 3rd day. Incredible, Michelle. Incredible. Nice to see you out there running too. But it's things like that when I see like someone, my goal is to do 26.2 miles over 10 days. Oh, I finished it on day 3. Whew, wow, you guys are working hard, man. And you're putting me to shame too. But it's great to see. I see some of you guys, T-Shawn Laws out there putting up some big numbers, man. Big miles. Good stuff, man. I'm in awe. I'm in awe. It's great to see. And lastly, the last thing I wanted to talk about was just how this race has kind of just brings people together. And I want to kind of tell you a little bit of a story from my Friday night. Well, really it was Thursday night. Sorry. So Thursday night was Midnight Madness Mile Run. And, I put our Facebook group together 3 or 4 years, probably 3 years ago now. And honestly, one of the reasons I did it, one of the reasons I started the Facebook group, and one of the reasons why, I think there's not 50,000 people in it, it's 1,200 people that are really, it's a close-knit group. It's a impressive group of people that are just so supportive, like-minded, and it's just great, a great place to be. And I think one of the reasons I started this group was because my first year when I was training for a marathon, I had this like Map My Run app. That was how I would calculate my miles. It was, my mileage running. I didn't have a watch or, anything like that, just an app on my phone. And every time I'd finish a run, it would, I could take a picture or I could make a comment and it would automatically post it to Facebook. And it honestly is kind of obnoxious because you're running 6 days a week and your Facebook is just exploding every day with, I ran 5 miles. I ran 15 miles. I ran, whatever it is. And every single day, everyone that follows you everyone's friends with you on Facebook has to see. And it's obnoxious. It's totally obnoxious. Yeah, it's me. It's what I'm doing. And I think at the time my thought was, hey, look, this is me. You want to friend me on Facebook? This is the punishment you'll receive. You will see my running every single day. So yeah, it was, I just kind of recognized it as being a little obnoxious and I didn't want to do it anymore. And I thought maybe if I'll just bring it into a private group and that way, I'll just invite people that they do the same thing and give them a place to kind of just huddle up. Hey, here we are, guys. Let's all share our runs. Let's all revel in our successes and support one another. And if you're having a hard time getting out, you need a little motivation, you can kind of go here and check out what other people are doing. And sometimes, just seeing other people staying busy and getting things done and accomplishing things is a great way, a great motivator for you to be like, man, I can do that. Or, I used to do that. Or I used to be like that. Or I want to be like that. And then you go ahead and do that. And the group grew and grew. And it's, like I said, I've never really pushed it on people. It's sort of just an open invite to anyone who comes in. We let them in until they're a jerk and then we kick them out. I think I've only kicked out like 2 or 3. It was one for I only kicked out one person for like 2 years. And then I recently had to kick out another 2 or 3. Some of you guys know who they are too. But in reality, it's very, I hardly have to moderate the boards. It's like, there's no arguments. Everyone's just supportive and wonderful. It's amazing. It's a great group. And that's kind of why I developed it. Now, every once in a while, I'm not paying attention and I get on Facebook to post my run or whatever, and I post it to my board, my personal page on Facebook, which I don't normally do anymore. Thursday night, Midnight Madness Mile should I say Friday morning, Midnight Madness Mile day. It was one of these days where I just was posting. I tried to post on Twitter. I tried to post it on Facebook. I posted it onto Facebook and I posted it under my my personal page. And when I do that, you know what? I kind of shrug my shoulders and go, whatever, is what it is. And then I'll share it onto the board. But obviously what happens is my friends on Facebook, my Facebook friends, they see it. And they normally they won't see it because it's in my closed group. My group is a closed group for this particular reason. And so all of a sudden, all these people are seeing it, seeing that I ran at midnight and Midnight Madness Mile. What's that all about? And I start getting, hearing from people that I haven't heard from in a long time. Because that's what happens on Facebook, right? If people don't see you posting, they don't see you active. They just kind of forget you exist. Anyway, so one of the guys that posted was my good old friend, Rich. Now, Rich is like one of those guys. Rich is actually, I think he's like 3 years younger than me. I think I was a senior and he was a freshman. We went to the same high school together. He was a really good baseball player. I don't really know how he did it in high school playing baseball. But then he went to college. He went to Siena College. I was at Siena College at the time, and he played hockey there. And I remember kind of like showing him the ropes a little bit at school and making sure no one beat him up. But he played hockey, and my roommate Sully, which is I think a law at most colleges, you have to have a roommate named Sully. But he played hockey too, so it was kind of like a good connection there. And Rich came and hung out with us a bunch of times, and I like to think I helped kind of ease his orientation to college a little bit. Although I probably fed him too many beers at the time. But anyway, no, he's under 21. I couldn't do that. That's illegal. Must be something else I'm thinking of. Anyway, Rich reached out, and he initially I think he just kind of made a crack at me, which was fine because like that's what friends do. But Rich is kind of like one of those friends where, I hate to put it this way, but you have your friends that you talk to like every day or every couple days that know how you're doing, that you share your stories with, that you talk to all the time. People that you text and you call. And then you have those friends that are kind of like that next tier. So tier two friends. I hate to put it that way, but it's like tier 2 friends. And what I mean by that is people that you like, that you genuinely like, people who if you ran into at any moment, you'd be like, oh, dude, awesome to see you. Like, let's go have a beer. Let's go catch up. Let's sit down and, whatever. Let's chat. And Rich is kind of he's in that tier 2 level for me. Like, and then like tier 3 would be like, people that you see and you're like, all right, yeah, I kind of hang out with you and yeah, I know who you are. And one of the tier 3 would be like, how you get the people you may know on Facebook and you get those people who you're like, yeah, I know that guy, but I don't really want to friend him. And at the other end, he's looking at your picture under the same thing going, yeah, I know Scott. I don't really need to friend him. And I respect that. I respect that tier 3 friendship. Where you don't want to get too close, but you wouldn't mind, I have lots of people, I wouldn't mind seeing you, but if we went for a beer, fine. I don't really need to know what you're up to. And I respect those people who see my face under their, people you could be friends with on Facebook and they don't click the add friend button. I appreciate you. I hope you appreciate me as much as I appreciate you. But anyway, Rich is definitely in that tier 2 level. I haven't spoken to him for years, but I'm really interested to hear how he's doing. And, we start chatting and just on Facebook, this is at midnight, 12:30 at night after the Midnight Mile. And we just start chatting on Messenger and it turns out that, I guess within the last year, again, I don't even really know the days. But Rich got some crazy insect bite, got infected, had some sort of flesh-eating bacteria in his foot and he had to have his foot amputated. And I'm like, wow, like, man, that's crazy. It's crazy. And I try to put myself in his position a little bit and think, man, how, you kind of brush that off, right? Oh, it's just a foot. Like, yeah, you can get a prosthetic and kind of learn how to walk again and you'll be getting around. No problem. It's not like you're going to lose your job or anything like that. It's just, yeah, whatever. You lose your foot, you move on. But it's insane. It's a change in your life. It is I try to put myself in his position. I'm like, man, like I think my initial thought was like, oh yeah, all right, fine, lose my foot. And then you lose it and you're like, damn, I really wish I could have that foot. Like, man, it would be trying mentally, mentally, it'd be a lot of stress, mentally stressful. I guess it was, changing your entire life and going through that where, geez, I mean, that kind of infection, it could, I think he said he's like an hour away from death, they told him at one point. So this is no joke. It's not just a foot. It's no joke. And, Rich is a friend of mine. I didn't even know. And so we started chatting and he's like, yeah, I know you've been running. I know you've been doing the Ironman race. It's incredible. And I was like, and I said to him, a lot of people, having done Ironman races, I'll tell you, I see people with no legs finishing Ironman races. So there's no reason that you can't do something like that without one foot. Like you can still work. You can still, and he's an athlete, right? I told you, he was a great baseball player. And when he was younger, when I knew him in high school, college hockey player. And I think that one of my pet peeves, and again, I talk about this on the show a lot. One of my pet peeves, I guess, is that, we get sort of institutionalized into the world of sports, us athletes, as student athletes. You get and it's not just games. It's practice every day. It's working out in the off season. It's a way of life and competitiveness. It keeps those competitive juices going. And then one day you wake up and you're a senior and you have no games left and there's nothing more to work for. And it sucks. And I think nobody prepares anybody for that. No one sits you down and says, hey, listen, we got to talk about this because this is going to be mentally stressful for you. You're going to lose that competitive edge, or you could potentially lose that. You got to find a way to stay busy. You got to find a way to stay competitive. And some people embrace like weightlifting or going to the gym, but you still lose that competitive edge of being out there and competing against other people, or even competing against yourself. And it took me a long time to kind of figure out that was something I was missing. And it took me a long time to embrace running and triathlon. And again, I haven't talked to Rich in a long time, so I don't know how in shape he was. I don't know. I just know that he used to be a very competitive dude. So we started talking about it, and I think, it really kind of, I'm like, hey, I'm a triathlon coach now. And he's, I could tell, there was a little interest there. There was a little bit of like, it's one thing, I think, something like that happens to you, you lose a foot, and all of a sudden people start pitying you like, oh, poor Rich. I think people that are in sort of this triathlon and running and all this stuff, I mean, geez, I've seen people finish a marathon on crutches with no legs or one leg. Stephanie will tell you, we have a friend, Melissa, who was a guide, who guided a guy in New York City, actually passed her on mile 22 or something. That's right. She was way ahead of me. Guiding a guy with one leg on crutches, finishing a marathon. So it's like you get to like, you talk to somebody. So for someone like Rich, who probably is like either feeling pity, maybe people aren't even giving him pity, but he's feeling it, to all of a sudden being encouraged. Hey, dude, get out. Don't let this thing beat you, And for me to have this meaningful conversation at what wound up being 2 a.m, after my run, we started chatting and we were up till 2 a.m, just on Messenger. Just to me, it was like, it brought another really cool sense of importance to this race and what happens and how this race has been bringing people together. A friend of mine who I haven't talked to in years has this major issue, this major thing happened to him. And all of a sudden we're having a conversation till 2 a.m, and I can tell it's really kind of affecting it. And we might have Rich on the podcast. Maybe I'll try to bring him in. I've asked him, and he said, I think he said he's going to be on. But to be able to kind of, at least, I'm hoping that I lifted his spirits a little bit in that conversation. We've talked since then a couple times, and I hope to have him on the show because it's just it was an important conversation for me. It's one that and again, it wouldn't have happened had I not screwed up and posted my run to my page. So I think, it's sort of like one of those sort of fateful things, making you realize how the things that you do, sometimes other things come about. You know, I could sit on my butt and do this podcast and just kind of be introverted and not reach out to people. But you know, because of the circumstances around that, I got to, you know, be in touch with a friend of mine who I think really needed it. So anyway, and again, I don't want to pity this. Rich is not to be pitied. Rich is the kind of guy that, you know, when faced with a challenge, he will attack it. He would, you know, I have no doubt about that. He will. I just would like, I'm going to have him on the podcast and we're going to talk about this and we're going to see, maybe we can get involved in, you know, get that foot on, man, get that prosthetic on and just start running. Maybe we'll get him like one of those really like, you know, the curvy ones that the people in the Olympics wear. We can do that. I don't know. We'll find something, man. We'll keep you active. We'll keep you going. It's, you know, it's a great community, very supportive. And you know what? You don't need to race against other people. You race against yourself. We all do it. We're all there for you, buddy. So, you know, again, no pity, zero pity. Rich, get involved. You have no choice now. Anyway, moving on. Keep involved. Keep getting your runs in. Keep posting them. We got another. Today's day 4, so we got another day. 6 days after this. 10 days total. I got to stay on track to make sure that I hit that my goals, my 26.2 miles total, and my 112 bike miles. I think we're gonna get it. Want to say hello to Ron Booz, who got his bike on a trainer this week, and we're looking forward to adding him to our Thursday night rides. And that being said, always remember, every day is an ordinary day unless you make it extraordinary. So get after it, guys.